Hello everyone, welcome to online class Energy Conversion Engineering. As you all know, this is our week 13. So far, we have finished 12 classes in the series of online lectures of Energy Conversion Engineering. I am Dr. Battula Babu. So, in this lecture, we are going to discuss about our 13th week topic, that is carbon based nanomaterials for supercapacitor applications. I welcome you all once again to the 13th week online class of energy conversion engineering. This is our topics of energy conversion engineering. So far we have finished 12 classes up to emerging two-dimensional nanomaterials for supercapacitor applications. The 13th week topic is carbon based nanomaterials for supercapacitor applications. In our previous class, we discussed about two-dimensional nanomaterials, advantages for the supercapacitor applications, how the two-dimensional materials are different from other nanomaterials. We discussed very clearly, that is two-dimensional nanomaterials provide high surface area and more active sites to participate in the redox reactions, so that it will easily move towards the electrode material and participate in redox reactions, so that it can give high specific capacitance, so that we can improve the performance of supercapacitors. Okay, right? So in this class we are going to discuss about carbon based nanomaterials for the high specific capacity of supercapacitors. Supercapacitors we are discussing from the last 12 classes, from the fundamentals to application point of view. In various sections we discussed about fundamental definitions, basic properties, how to increase the performance of any supercapacitor, what are the factors to influence the performance of supercapacitors, what are the fundamental factors to increase the performance of supercapacitors. We have discussed a lot in our previous classes. So in this class, basically carbon based materials are majorly used in the preparation of supercapacitor electrodes. Therefore, we need to understand the importance of carbon based materials in the field of supercapacitors. So for this purpose, in our previous classes at the time of beginning of supercapacitors, we discussed about few topics, that is electrochemical double layer capacitors. So there we discussed a little bit about carbon based materials, but here we need to understand very clearly about the usefulness of carbon in the field of supercapacitors. So we all know that supercapacitors have been recognized as a large potential and long cycle life or energy storage device for the next generation due to their greater capacity and high power density at reduced cost. We all know that batteries are now we are commercially using in many ways in many fields due to high energy density, but it is a costly matter. So we need to use batteries or energy storage devices in a greater extent. So we need to reduce the cost of making this energy storage devices or this energy conversion technologies. For this purpose we are discussing about, or we have the opportunity to replace batteries with supercapacitors. The main challenging or the main advantage or of the supercapacitors is we can supercapacitors can give more power density. So in order to overcome the cost with respect to the batteries, we can we need to improve the energy density of the supercapacitors. So at the same time, if we observe, there are so many advantages of supercapacitors when compared with the batteries, especially long cycle life. Therefore, supercapacitors are usually categorized into three types we clearly discussed in our previous classes, but for the understanding of the importance of carbon, I am repeating once again. I want to remind you once again. So that is electric double layer capacitor, that is the first one, we are simply call it as EDLCs, and the second one is pseudo capacitors. The third one is hybrid supercapacitors. So based on the working principle or based on the type of the supercapacitor electrode, we categorized into three types of supercapacitors, that is EDLCs, electric double layer supercapacitors, and the second one is pseudo capacitors, third one is hybrid supercapacitors. So just in a brief way, we are remind the what are these three categories of supercapacitors. Basically, the first category, that is EDLCs, store energy electrostatically by absorption or disruption of electrolyte ions at the electrode electrolyte interfaces. Here in EDLCs, the non-Faraday electrostatic adsorption process on the electrode surface is quick and reversible, resulting in high power density and limited energy density. So this is the working principle or the storage mechanism of EDLCs. There is no Faradic reversibility in case of EDLCs because of the no chemical reaction happening in the EDLCs. It can provide high long cycle ability. Coming to the second category, that is pseudo capacitors. Pseudo capacitors store energy through a rapid and reversible surface oxidation reduction reaction, which exhibits higher energy density than the first category, that is EDLCs. We need to understand or we need to remind that the first type of supercapacitor, that is EDLCs, in EDLCs there is no redox reaction, that means there is no Faradic reaction. But in case of pseudo capacitors, there is Faradic reaction. So due to this, it may provide high energy density, but the cyclability is not as good as EDLCs. The third type of supercapacitors are hybrid supercapacitors. Hybrid supercapacitors is the combination of EDLCs and pseudo capacitors. So simply we can understand that we have two electrodes in supercapacitors. So one electrode belongs to EDLCs and other electrode belongs to pseudo capacitor. That is, one is carbon based electrode and other one is either metal oxide or polymer based electrode, so that we can combine the advantages and of the EDLCs, that is high energy density, and we are using the advantage of pseudocapacitor, that is high energy density, and the EDLCs provide high power density. So the advantage of these, the first two kinds of supercapacitors are combined together as the third category of supercapacitor, that is hybrid supercapacitor. Then further we need to we are going to discuss about the carbon based nanomaterials, how we are using in the these three categories of hybrid supercapacitors. In carbon based nanomaterials, we have many kinds of carbon based nanomaterials that we are using in the field of supercapacitors, that is graphene, carbon nanotubes, carbon nanofibers, mesoporous carbons, porous carbons, carbon aerogels, and activated carbons. So these are all the kinds of or several types of carbon based nanomaterials that are using in supercapacitors. Why we are selecting carbon based nanomaterials? Here you can see the main reason is to develop electrochemical capacitors or the supercapacitors to work for the next generation. The electrode surface may accumulate the charges or ions by a potential difference applied externally. Therefore, the capacitance values are reached higher from 10 power 12 to 10 power 9, from this range to 10 power 6 to 10 power 3. So it will reach from 10 power 6 to 10 power 12, or from 10 power 3 to 10 power 9. So this much of higher capacitance we can achieve by using carbon electrodes. Recently, in supercapacitors consists of three electrode system, that is electrode, electrolyte, and separator, where the electrode serves as a major contributor to enhance the electrochemical performance of supercapacitors. We all know, we already discussed in our previous classes, to test the performance of any supercapacitor. Nowadays we are using three electrode system. So out of what are these three electrodes, we discussed it clearly in our classes, that electrode, electrolyte, and separator. So separator acts as a new insulator to prevent any short circuit from the two electrodes, but it can transfer the electrolyte ions from one electrode to other electrode. So that is the advantage of separator. So here we have several types of supercapacitors have already been commercially, such as pseudocapacitors, EDLCs, and hybrid capacitors. All belongs to EDLC. Why it all belongs to EDLC means, so in any kind of supercapacitors, the basic principle is same, that is the formation of electrochemical double layer. So therefore, the related electrode material, the energy storage mechanism, or the electrode materials in superconductors. So in this in the previous slide, in the figure, you can see the difference between the three kinds of supercapacitors and how is the working principle. So you can see clearly about the three electrode system and the formation of electrochemical double layer, and how the ions transfer. So there is clear picture in our previous slide. So all the three kinds of supercapacitors are explained in a very good manner. EDLCs, that is the first kind of supercapacitor where we are using carbon as an electrode material. So mostly porous carbons are more advantageous than the other carbon based materials, because of the high specific surface area and the ordered mesoporous porosity structures. So it can use mostly in the preparation of supercapacitor electrodes. So in EDLCs, it store energy electrostatically via fast ion adsorption at the interface of electrode and electrolyte. We all clearly know that the formation of double layer at electrode electrolyte surface, it creates a capacitor like structure, so where the energy can be stored. However, the charge in pseudocapacitors is stored via a rapid and reversible Faradic response taking place at the surface of transition metal oxides, or nitrides, or sulfides, or conducting polymers. So, but in the case of pseudocapacitors, the storage mechanism is entirely different with respect to EDLCs. That here there is an oxidation reduction, that is redox reactions happening at the electrode surface. So, because in EDLCs we are considering only carbon-based materials, but in case of pseudocapacitors we are using electrode materials as metal oxides, conducting polymers, sulfides, nitrides. So we are using different kinds of materials which can participate in redox reactions. And coming to the, but what is the main difference between these two in terms of energy density or power density? That is, EDLCs have high power density and excellent life cycle life performance, but it suffers from low energy density. So EDLCs provide high power density but and low energy density, but pseudocapacitors is quite different with respect to EDLCs. The capacitance of pseudocapacitive electrodes is higher than EDLCs but degrades quickly. Why it degrades quickly? Because of the oxidation reactions, because of the Faradic reactions, because of the chemical reactions. So thus hybrid systems have been explored to become an attractive alternative to conventional electrochemical double layer capacitors and pseudocapacitors. For the superior performance of pseudocapacitors, the effective contact between electrode materials and the electrolyte is observed, leading to fast ion charge transportation in the bulk of electrodes at the electrode electrolyte interface. So, due to the combination of carbon based material and metal oxide or conducting polymer or nitride or sulfides, so it gives the fast ion transportation at the electrode electrolyte surface. Due to this, it can provide high energy density and high power density than EDLCs and pseudocapacitors. But however, in hybrid capacitors, there is Faradic reaction, that means there is chemical reaction. So cycle ability or more cycle ability is definitely lower than EDLCs but higher than pseudocapacitors. So hybrid capacitors have some advantages than both EDLCs and pseudocapacitors, where we are using carbon as electrode material, one of the electrode material, and the other one is, as you all know, the conducting polymers or transition metal oxides. So by which we can prepare pseudocapacitors. As you are seeing the two figures, there is an immense research is going on in the field of supercapacitors, particularly these carbon based materials and transition metal oxides, or with the combinations of carbon and transition metal oxides. That means the preparation of hybrid supercapacitors. You can see there is exponentially growing interest in the field of supercapacitors. An increment in the number of publications, including articles, patents, books, and authentic open literature on Google Scholar. So here the data is showing up to 2018 only. In the figure you can see, in the second figure you can see the different kind of new electrode materials to increase the performance of supercapacitors. So there are so many methods and different combinations with carbon based materials and other materials to make composites. So all the combinations are tried to give more surface area, more porosity, and the synergetic effect of the metal and carbon interactions offer the enhanced specific capacity and stability for the supercapacitors to increase the performance of prepared supercapacitors. Coming to the factors that are affecting the supercapacitor properties, we need to understand. So, out of the different factors, here are the main or the important factors, that is influence of pore size distribution, influence of pore wettability, influence of morphology, and electrode effect. So in the next slides we are going to discuss very clearly about these three factors, how the pore size distribution will affect the performance of supercapacitor, and also how the pore wettability, that means how is the wetting nature between the electrode and electrolyte. So how this property will influence the supercapacitor performance. And the third one is, as we all know, the nanomaterials will have many kinds of morphologies. In our previous lecture also we discussed about the importance of dimensionality, that means two-dimensional nano sheets, how it will how it influenced the properties. As the nanosheet morphology, it provides high surface area and high active sites to participate in redox reactions to increase the performance of supercapacitors. So we need to understand the importance and influence of these three factors, that is pore size distribution and pore wettability and morphology and electrode effect. So the advantages of chemical capacitors, electrochemical capacitors, that is simply supercapacitors using PCs, that is porous carbons. So the advantage of porous carbon materials for the electrode materials can be summarized as follows. So as our class is belongs to the carbon based materials. So here we are considering porous carbons as the electrode materials, and we are discussing the advantages of using porous carbon materials. The first one is the ability to charge discharge quickly. So when compared with other carbon based materials, porous carbons have the advantage of quick charge and discharge. As you all know, the advantage of supercapacitors with respect to batteries is fast charging and discharging. So in batteries it takes much time to charge and also for the discharge, but the beauty of the supercapacitors is it can charge very quickly and it can discharge very quickly. So why it is happening? So because of the power density. When compared with batteries, supercapacitors have high power density. So because of this high power density, especially the usage of porous carbons gives quick charge and discharge. The second one is a long cycle life because of physiorption, desorption of electrolyte ions and no chemical reactions included. As you all know, if you observe the first case of supercapacitors, that is EDLCs, there you can observe no Faradic reaction, there is no chemical reaction. So because of the no chemical reaction happening in the electrolyte and electrode, so it can provide high cycle life ability. The third point is a high efficiency in the charge discharge cycles. So not only more cyclability, but it can give high efficiency along with the high cyclability. So this is most important. So even though if you consider pseudo capacitors, it can give high efficiency but it may not give high cyclability. But in case of this porous carbons, it gives high efficiency, that means high performance along with high cyclability. And the fourth point is high electrocatalytic activity. So high electrocatalytic activity means here the interaction is very good between electrode and electrolyte. So due to this, the formation of electrochemical double layer is very good and it provides high performance. And the next point is excellent solvent resistance and finally thermostability. So it can sustain at very good thermal stability. So here are the advantages of the using porous carbons as electrode material for supercapacitors. So in the next we are going to discuss about the factors that are affecting the supercapacitors performance or properties. Influence of pore size distribution. So as we understood, pore size distribution is very important for the performance of supercapacitors. The pore size distribution, here we can simply call it as PSD, pore size distribution, efficiently offers to improve capacitance, particularly for EDLCs, because on mainly carbon based materials can give us uniform pore size distribution or ordered porosity we can achieve mostly in carbon materials. So generally most of the nanoporous carbons that are composed of micro and mesopores exhibit no long range structural order. Even their performance is dependent on the carbon electrolyte interface. So most of the nanoporous carbons have mesopores and micropores, but even though it have the mesopores and micropores, because of the lacking of ordered pore structure, it may not give good performance because there is no uniformity in pore size distribution. It has micropores and it has mesopores, but because of the unorderedness of pore size, it may not give high performance. But the pores of porous carbon materials function differently in the process of electrochemical charge discharge. That means the pore size distribution PSD affects the performance of supercapacitors. Therefore, the pores of porous carbons function differently in the process of electrochemical charge discharge. Especially micropores and mesopores act as ion buffering reservoirs and rapid mass transport, while some of the micropores significantly affect the diffusion of ions and molecular sieving due to failing adsorb ions, thereby changing its capacity. So these micropores and mesopores acts as ion reservoirs and rapid mass transport. So because of the ordered porous structure, the ions can go into the pores of the electrode material and stay, so that the diffusion of ions is very easy. So due to the diffusion of electrolyte ions into the electrode materials, so the performance can increase. As per the IUPAC standards, that is International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, that is IUPAC. As per the IUPAC standards, the pore structure, here you can see the pore structures with a diameter of greater than 50 nanometer, it can be considered as macropores. Greater than 50 nanometer, that is macropores, and in between 2 to 50 nanometer, that is mesopores. And if the pore size is less than 2 nanometers, those can be considered as micropores. So the pore sizes of porous carbon materials have been classified as nanopores, that is less than 100 nanometers. So less than 100 nanometers, we can consider it as nanopores. And for example, if it is super microporous, that means 0.7 to 2 nanometer, and ultra micropores means less than 0.7 nanometers. Why we are defining all these different ranges of porous means, as we discussed previously, so the pore size distribution or the pore size matters in the performance of supercapacitor, because electrolyte ion size is very important in considering the electrolyte. So if the electrolyte ion size is similar or it is matched with the pore sizes, then it can easily diffuse. That means electrolyte ions can easily diffuse into the electrode, so which gives high performance. Therefore we need to know the pore size diameter. So I'm repeating once again, so you can see clearly here it is greater than 50 nanometer, that is macropores. 2 to 50 nanometer, that is mesopores. Less than 2 nanometer, micropores. But all are under less than 100 nanometers, we can call it as nanopores. But in case if it is 0.7 to 2 nanometer, it is super micropores. If it is less than 0.7 nanometer, we can call them as ultra micropores. Therefore the appropriate pore size distribution plays a crucial role in the optimization of the specific energy and power in supercapacitors. So it is well known that the presence of micropores in EDLCs, that is less than 2 nanometer, provides a large surface area to accommodate ions, while both mesopores and macropores facilitate the rapid ion transport under dynamic polarization conditions. So it is better to have the three kinds of porous structures in a material, because less than 2 nanometer, if the material provides less than 2 nanometer pores, that it can provide large surface area to accommodate more electrolyte ions. But if the material has mesopores and micropores, it can facilitate rapid ion transport, but it may not provide high surface area as the pores which have less than 2 nanometer material. So different kinds of pore size distribution carbon materials provides different properties. As we see here, if the pore sizes are less than 2 nanometer, it can provide high surface area. In case if the pore sizes are between 2 to 50 nanometer, that is mesoporous, and less than 50 nanometer, that is macroporous, if the material have this kind of mesopores and micropores, it can give it. What is the advantage with these mesoporous and microporous is that it can provide, or it can facilitate the rapid ion transport under dynamic polarization conditions. How can we achieve this pore sizes means? So due to the preparation method of porous carbons, we can achieve the porous structures, that is carbonization. A lower pre-carbonization temperature leads to an enlargement of pores, resulting in carbon materials with a large pore volume and specific surface area. Therefore, it is possible to alter the pore size. It is possible to alter the pore size, and also it is possible to alter total pore volume and micropores volume and surface area by varying the pre-carbonization temperature. So carbonization is a method to prepare carbon materials and with porous structures. So based on the conditions of the temperatures of what we are selecting, so it can modify or it can change the porous structure, pore size, it can change total pore volume, it can change mesoporous volume, it can change microporous volume. So we can tune the requirement as per the requirement of our application. We can change the pore size distribution. Besides a high specific surface area, the pore size and its geometry of these materials are important factors, of which the latter has a direct influence on the electric double layer. So along with the high specific surface area, we are mentioning that surface area should be more. Of course, we need high specific surface area. Along with that specific high specific surface area, we need pore size. We have pore size and also the geometry. So how the pore sizes are distributed, it is also very important to contribute the high performance for the supercapacitors. So it was observed that micropores less than 2 nanometer can increase specific capacitance when their size matches the size of electrolyte ions. So as I told you earlier, electrolyte ion size is important, and if it matches with the micropores, then it will give high performance. By distorting or removing the solvation shell of the electrolyte ions, the reduction in the thickness of the double layer was observed, thus increasing specific capacitance. So what is happening to the performance if the microporous or mesoporous structure is, it can remove the solvation shell of electrolyte. That means it affects the electrochemical double layer formation. So as you all know, electrochemical double layer is very important to store the energy. So this porous structure affects the formation mechanism of electrochemical double layer, thereby of course supercapacitor performance. Porous carbon material could attain maximum capacity because its pore size matched well with the size of dissolved ions. And also, due to the difference in pore size distribution, the observed different capacitive properties using the same pore size of various carbon materials. And also, as I told you, the interconnected pores of distinct sizes are eligible as a hierarchical porous carbon structures that promotes the infiltration of electrolytes and diffusion of ions through a separate porous channel. So, ordered mesoporous and microporous structures are very important as these are acts as ion reservoirs. The second important factor influencing the supercapacitor performance is pore wettability, wetting nature. So another key component of supercapacitor for the charging or discharging mechanism is pore wettability. So the hydrophobic and hydrophilic surfaces, we all know that hydrophilic means it has the ability to contact the water surface. Hydrophobic means it has some repelling nature to contact any surface. So that means if a water is easily stick if the surface has hydrophilic nature and the surface is hydrophobic, water molecule or any electrolyte cannot easily stick or attach to that particular surface. Hydrophobic means repelling nature, hydrophilic means the sticky nature, we can simply call it like that. So these surfaces of functional groups containing pore wettability permit the guest molecules to penetrate inside the pores, leading to transferring electrons. Therefore, the surface functionalization of porous carbon materials through modification by oxygen, nitrogen, and other elements gradually becomes a major concern to achieve adequate wettability. So, only carbon based materials, that means the simple porous carbons, cannot make this much porous wettability. So because if the porous wettability nature is very good, so then the performance will increase. So how can we achieve this factor? How can we modify this factor is by simply modifying the porous carbon surface with oxygen or nitrogen or some other elements. So just by introducing or by doping with oxygen or by doping with nitrogen, so we can modify the surface by various functional groups, ion adsorption, so which can facilitate to enhance the hydrophilicity. So thereby, so there is a strong wettability nature between the electrolyte and the electrode material, so which helps to improve the ion transfer mechanism or charging discharging mechanism, so that there is a huge chance to improve the performance. So moderate oxidations accompanied by heteroatom doping provide Faradic reaction based pseudocapacitance, thereby increasing the capacitance value of electrode material. So as we all know that the modification is important and influence the pore wettability, the over modification may result badly when compared to the performance of pseudocapacitor. So optimization of pore wettability is important. So as we mentioned clearly, the doping of oxygen and nitrogen can modify the pore wettability nature and it can increase the hydrophilicity. So thereby electrolyte ions can easily attach to the electrode material to improve the ion transfer and charge discharge mechanism to improve the performance of supercapacitor. So modification is important, but over oxidation is badly uh, destroys the electrode properties, so it can destroy the pore structure. So definitely, due to the collapse of pore structure, so it will increase the interface resistance. If the interface resistance is more, obviously the charge transfer is less, and also it can affect the charge discharge mechanism. So pore wettability is very very important. So how can we achieve? We can by simple synthesis of porous carbons, we cannot modify the surface. So after preparation or by modification with oxygen or nitrogen or other elements, we can increase the hydrophilicity nature of surface. So as you increase the hydrophilicity nature of the electrode surface, the electrolyte ions can easily diffuse into the electrode material to increase the performance of supercapacitors. The third important factor that influence the performance of supercapacitor is the morphology and electrode effect. The morphology and fabrication of the electrode strongly affect the performance of supercapacitors. We all know that specific surface area should be more for the performance of supercapacitor. In addition to large specific surface area provided by the supercapacitor electrodes, it should have a uniform structure or morphology, and open architecture allow for ion transport smoothly, further to improve its performance. So if there is some interruption or collapse of surf morphology, it will lead to high internal resistance. As you all know, if there is high internal resistance, the ion transport is not happen smoothly. So for the easy and smooth ion transportation, we should have the electrode with good structure and morphology. These significant improvements are associated with fast diffusion of ions and a higher degree of charge storage performance. So, this uniform structure and morphology is very important for the significant improvement of performance. The main reason for this increase of performance is diffusion of electrolyte ions is will become very easy with uniform structure and morphology. So here we have two results reported previously, that is gadolinium doped cerium oxide nanoflowers. So this gadolinium doped cerium oxide nanoflowers on porous carbon foam via UV light irradiation. So this is the adopted method to prepare that particular material by those others. So the electrodes prepared by this method using mixed suspension of gadolinium and cerium oxide materials. So this material provides excellent capacitive nature with maximum specific capacity of 280 farad per gram in 1 molar sodium hydroxide solution. So it is one of the material. So and also we have other materials like manganese cobalt oxide nanoflakes, that is MnCO2O4 nanoflakes. So these nanoflakes were prepared by using electrodeposition method, and these manganese cobalt oxide nanoflakes also provides a maximum specific capacitance of 585 farad per gram with a current density of 0.2 milliampere per centimeter square. So here we are seeing a clear results of uniform morphology and electrode effect. So and also we have other materials which provides high specific capacitance, for example nickel cobalt double hydroxide with spear like nanoflowers were synthesized with the presence of potassium bromide, and also they exhibited outstanding electrochemical performance, that is 2630 farad per gram. And so here clearly we can say, with a special structure and cooperative effects as well as the morphology of metal oxides, benefit significantly from the superior electrochemical performance. Coming to the production of porous carbons, and we clearly understood that the porous carbons have very significant properties for the high performance of supercapacitors. But how can we prepare porous carbons? So there are two methods, that is physical activation and chemical activation. So these two are the main basic principle or basic method for the production of porous carbons. The properties of porous carbons can be customized according to their final use by varying the process parameters or by modifying the specific surface after production. As I told you earlier, so based on the pre-carbonization temperature, we can modify or we can tune the final properties of the porous carbons. We can tune pore size, we can tune total pore volume, we can tune pore structure. So based on the pre-carbonization temperature, we can modify the properties of the porous carbons to get the high performance as per our requirement. So there are two main activation processes, that is chemical and physical activation. After this treatment, the porous carbons, as a popular material for supercapacitors, may provide high specific surface area, good electrical performance, affordable cost, etc. So these porous carbons can provide high surface area and good electrical performance with affordable cost. So coming to the first method of preparation of porous carbons, that is physical activation. The physical activation by air, carbon dioxide and steam provides an advantage for a simple, scalable, less expensive and greener process. This physical activation method needs a temperature of 700 to 1200 degrees centigrade in the presence of reducing or oxidizing agents. In this process, oxygen reacts slowly with carbon atoms to generate carbon dioxide. This slow oxidation mechanism generates porosity. So this is very important in the preparation of the porous carbons. The oxygen fed into the system is also partially chemisorbed onto the surface, generating oxygen complexes. So we are not discussing in detail about the physical activation process with chemical equations, but the main theme of physical activation for the preparation of porous carbons is, so here we need to mix air, it is the physical activation combination, air, carbon dioxide and steam, and this method requires high temperature up in the range of 700 to 1200 degrees centigrade. So in the presence of oxidizing agents or reducing agents, so we need to control the temperature and we need to control the slow oxidation mechanism to modify the porosity. Coming to the chemical activation, so physical activation technique needs high temperature, but chemical activation needs a relatively low temperature with respect to the physical activation. The chemical treatment takes place at lower temperature between 400 to 700 degrees centigrade using chemical substances like acid, alkali, or metal salts. The most common industrial activating agents used for chemical activation are zinc chloride, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, sodium carbonate, like that. And also we need some other chemicals like magnesium chloride, aluminum chloride also. So the main mechanism and operating temperatures of activation depend on the type of chemical agent that we are using. So the porous carbon based supercapacitors, it has electrode materials that have the properties of excellent mechanical, chemical, and physical characterization to improve the electrochemical behavior of supercapacitors. So by adding a small quantity of mesopores into the micropore surface, the power capability of supercapacitor can be improved. With the choice of these suitable chemical activators, as we mentioned in the previous slide of preparation of porous carbons, that is physical activation and chemical activation, so it provides well defined micro pore size distribution and an ultra high specific surface area. And these porous carbons provide good electrical conductivity, and the porous nature of active carbons, graphene, carbon nanotubes, carbon nanofibers. So these are all investigated as electrode material for supercapacitors to show electrochemical double layer behavior. So all these materials have their own advantage with high specific surface area and modifiable pore size and good electrical conductivity, biocompatibility, so and also desirable thermal mechanical properties. In particular, graphene based hydrogels, that is three-dimensional nano architectures, has attractively been studied because of its outstanding performance. But however, coming to the pore size of active carbons or porous carbons, the pore sizes of these carbon materials and their distributions should be considered while dealing with the capacitance. So however, the pore size, that means porosity and high capacitance, are not tightly related, but we can see porous carbons that were examined to obtain higher specific capacity by storing energy through fast surface redox reactions. So, as we see in our previous slides, the research is growing exponentially for the preparation of carbon based nanomaterials and the combinations with metal oxides and conducting polymers, all those. So there is an immense research is going on to increase the next generation supercapacitors with high cyclability and high. In this class we have discussed about the carbon based nanomaterials that are using in super, supercapacitor field, and we discussed the important factors that are influencing the supercapacitor properties, particularly influence of pore size distribution, influence of pore wettability, and finally influence of morphology and electrode effect. So we clearly discussed about the porous carbon electrode materials because it has the advantages of high cyclability, and it has the more efficient, and it have excellent solvent resistance, and also it has good thermostability, and we clearly discussed about these the important factors to increase the performance. So in our next class we will discuss about the oxide based nanomaterials. So transition metal oxides are very important electrode materials to use in pseudocapacitors on the hybrid supercapacitors. So we can combine these transition metal oxides with the carbon based materials. So this nano composite, that means carbon and metal oxide, the combination will give higher supercapacitor performance when compared with the individual EDLCs and supercapacitors. So this is our 13th week class, carbon based nanomaterials. If you have any questions, you can contact me through my mail. Thank you.